I'm just gonna listen to you.
Perfect. Okay, so today we're talking about dating young versus dating older. My name is Carlos. I'm the host. Before we get started, I'm gonna ask a question, and as I ask this question, I want y'all just to tell me your answer below. Just type your answer in the chat. Okay, so what age difference would you consider acceptable or concerning? Write that for me, Rome, and then I'm going to pin that message, please. Would you consider acceptable in dating, or tell me what age is concerning for you? And so we're going to hit it from several different angles. So that's how we're going to play that one. Yes, sir, Rome. So type that for me, Rome, please, because today
All
we're
right.
talking about dating younger versus dating older. We got to. Okay, so see if she can join me on here. So we're just gonna kick it off like this, Rome, one at a time. So please type in the message or the chat box. What age group do you find acceptable, or what's your preference as far as age is concerned?
I bet.
So we'll get Lim ready, man.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So Lim, look, what we're gonna do is, if somebody, I'm trying to get somebody to type the message, right? Type in what age difference do you find acceptable, right? Or what's your preference for age group?
Okay,
What
I got
what
you.
is old, what is too young? Put that in the chat box, and then we'll take it from there. So type it in. What age difference do you find acceptable, or what is your preference? Type that in the chat box, and then we're gonna wait for other people to join, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Yes,
I see
sir.
my lovely wife on. All right, Asia Cherie. But so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say, tell me your preference, age wise. What's too old for you today? What's too young? And I'm trying to get my home girl on. And so when she come on, one of y'all gonna have to jump off. It's probably gonna be young Lemuel, because I'm gonna let him in to be able to get ready to join once he's ready, right? So once she get on, I'll be able to let her in, and then it'll be her and I, and then I'll be able to let y'all come on in.
Yeah,
Um,
we can get off when we can get off once she come on, and then I'll just do the watching the questions and things of that nature. Oh, he already put his answer on there.
where is it? So I can pin it. Let's see. Pin comment. Okay. I just pinned it. He said for a man, it's 20-year difference once she's 25. For a woman, 5 to 10. So that was his, and he the only one that wrote it in. So we're gonna go off that one right for now. Anybody else have a preference for age? Type it in the comments if you have a preference for age. We waiting on the guest. Let's see, is she here? Nope, she ain't here yet. So I know she just called me on the phone, but I cannot call her because I'm live on the phone. So I text her. We're gonna wait for her to jump in. Um, we got people on WhatsApp. We got
Just
people on.
shoot her a text and make sure she know to hit the request to go live. She may already know that, but just make sure she.
Yeah, I don't see her on yet. So let's kick it off. We're gonna go and get started based on general synopsis. Let me paint the scene, right? Let me throw out a disclaimer, right, for the people that's here initially, right? This is a safe space, right? I had a couple conversations last week, and I want to make sure I preference the comments by saying this is a safe space. So everything that's said here, I want y'all to be extremely respectful. to women and men. I am the moderator, right? I'm the in-between man. I'm not trying to take sides. My job is to rock the boat, to be able to hear both sides, the men and the women, because the initiative is for us to have open, good dialogue, good conversation. So that's what we're doing right now. I just want to be able to understand what's your preference, because there's some people that prefer to date older, and there's some people never would. Oh, isn't that crazy? Why would I date an older man? And so when they date an older man, it kind of look like it's weird. But then we got other people with different experiences. So right now we getting ready to get started. So I'm gonna have you exit Lim, Rome as well. Y'all gonna come right back, but I'm about to bring her in, and we about to go and get started.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Give me a minute. We about to do this like this. Okay, they gone. Okay, boom. Let's get started. Okay. Hey, Ashley. I'm sorry. So do I call you by your real? Because I'll call
That's
you.
fine. You can call me by whatever you so choose.
Okay. So I call her Ashley, where everybody knows as Candace,
Yeah.
right? Let me give you a formal introduction, right?
Ooh.
My homegirl from the shop, right? I love her so much because we have a lot of open dialogues. We've been cool for a long time. We worked together at Clear Channel, went to church together, you name it. She could really, 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 did I say five? Really, she could really sing. And she's really good, right? So I ain't promoting your album. I'm just saying she could sing, right? And so what I want to do initially is I want to be able to have you introduce yourself to the people first and foremost. And after you introduce yourself to the people, I want you to talk about your relationships from the beginning. I want you to go all the way back to maybe 18, 19, bring us up. Because the reason I said that, because I think it's important. When you understand somebody's history, you can comment a little bit better by knowing exactly where they've been and where they're going.
Absolutely.
Right? The differences in your experiences. So introduce yourself to the people, please.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for having me. My brother always got me up to some crazy something. So my name's Candace Ashley. I am a single mom of one. He is 12 years old, going on 13, and he's super duper tall. I am a divorcee, a survivor. And what can I say? What else? I'm 37 years old. So I've been married one time, and then I've been in a few relationships throughout the course of my 37 years. So is there anything else that I leave out?
Career.
What was
Career.
that it? Is
Career.
there anything else? Oh, my
Career.
career. Okay. So I'm currently serving as a vice president at a boutique staffing, executive staffing firm, where I pretty much focus on like finance and accounting and executive staffing as well. So yeah,
I love it. Okay,
that's
so
a tidbit.
take us from the beginning. Did you as we rewind, so were you always into, like dating? Did you find dating to come easy to you? Tell me about your first boyfriend. We're not gonna stay that long, but tell me a little bit about your first boyfriend. Right?
So let's dig back. So I'm the girl that always had a boo, had a something from the time I was probably 10, 11, to liking somebody and telling them I'm like, hey, I like him, he like me, we go together, and just being very transparent. From that to being in high school, dating, to always being a relationship person and always being in a committed relationship for as long as I can remember, into college. So my first, I would say, really serious relationship was in college, and it was with a guy that was about 8 years older than me, my freshman year to be exact. And that was an adventure of a lifetime. He was the screws was a little loose. There was a lot going on there, but he was very controlling. So I found safety there. Why do I find safety there? Because the father figure wasn't present. So that was attracting me and kind of entangling me because I felt covered and protected and things like that. Fast forward, another relationship in college, whatever. We ended up being really, really good friends. Didn't work out, to immediately getting married, like at the end of college. I was 21 to be exact. And at the time, my ex-husband was 19.
Oh.
So
Okay, hold on. So let me just take a pause break. So for everybody that's online, I want y'all to type in the comments, what is your age preference, right? That's going to be important right now. So type in your age preference as it relates to dating, right? Men, you type in the women, how old they have to be, vice versa. Women, you type in the men, right? That's important. Now, so tell us, did you go through the thug stage? Like, I know you're from Chicago, so did you go through the bad boy phase or the insubordinate stage? Tell me a little bit more about that.
No, because I'm a church girl, so I typically was drawn to church kids or church boys or whatever, like me, kind of a little bit more safe. However, in my adult dating, I would say yes, I
Okay.
did. Just a
So,
bit
'cause
different
I,
from
I,
my.
I thought you were gonna hit us with I'm a church girl. Of course I think. Okay, cool.
But
Okay,
I can say maybe in my grown-up adulthood dating, sure, if you want to call it that, just people that are a bit far-fetched for myself that didn't grow up in the church or whatever. I found adventure and being with the bad boy. So sure, we can say that, but that has probably been touched on more so in my adulthood dating.
okay. So let's dig deep. Tell us a little bit more about the ex-husband and how did that
So that transpired because we went to church together, and I was really I was like a play daughter to his mom at the time, and great people. I was drawn to her, and my ex-husband at the time had a baby very young. My baby might be watching, she might be watching, hey babe. And so I inherited her in a sense as my daughter, and then his family had already become my family, so it was just kind of organic where this mom finds this good girl, kind of cultivates her, nurtures her, and pairs her with a son. So that's how that kind of came about. And I felt safe there as well. Just safety in a sense of just being like, okay, well, this is it. I didn't want to explore. I felt safe. And it just kind of was doing something that I was used to. Um, but we were young. We were young. We didn't know ourselves. He was 20. I was 21 at the time, but I thought I was grown because I had held jobs and I had traveled. And he was fresh out of high school. Our first day was his high school prom. So yeah, our
So,
first day.
I mean, I'm not just gonna sit up here and let you skip over this completely, right? So, can you tell me how old were you when you got married?
21,
How old were you when you started dating him?
20,
How long did you all date before getting married?
not
I
very
know.
long, maybe 1 year,
I mean,
maybe.
see, this is where I'm stopping right now, right? I just want to pause here right quick. And I want you to tell the audience, how does it feel to be 20 to 21 and talking about you a stepmother? Please elaborate on that a little bit, please, for the people.
Um, very interesting, very interesting to say the very least. But in church, it's kind of like you just do what's safe. You just kind of do what the expectation is. So I fell in the trap of doing what was safe and not looking any further, not challenging myself. At the time, Los and I were working together, and he was like, "You get married?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting married." Like I was sold on it. There was no questions. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it, and it was safe. I felt safe, and I felt like there was nothing else for me to look for. I had everything that I needed. So yeah, I inherited this baby. I stepped in as stepmommy, and she was 2 at the time. Yeah, she was 2, and there was no questions. Like I just did what I had to do.
So did you feel comfortable with being a IE mom, or did you have to learn a lot in that situation, and how did it work?
I for sure had to learn because I come from a strict Christian apostolic background where the kids don't talk unless they're spoken to and that kind of thing. So adjusting and trying to raise someone not that didn't organically come from me, I had to have learned behavior of parenting, learned and adjusting myself. I'm a young mom. There's a lot I don't know. I don't even have the maternal instincts that come with parenting, right? I'm 21. I didn't even have this baby. So I had to learn. There are a lot of things I had to learn for sure.
So with all due fairness and not throwing nobody under the bus, can you tell me when and how did it go left? I mean, I
Yes, I can. So it went left because prior to dating my ex-husband, I was a little boss. I had 3 jobs in college. I had an internship that took care of my housing. I had an internship at iHeartRadio, and I was doing an internship somewhere else. So you're talking about always a steady cash flow. Didn't have to ask anybody for anything. Paying the balance of my tuition for school by myself. That was me. So when I got with my ex-husband, there's just a preconceived notion that she's a little too strong. You're gonna have to straighten her out. You're gonna have to, and that's exactly what happened. So I ended up, having to stay home with the kids and just letting go of my career and just becoming a stay-at-home mom. And people that knew me were just like, huh? You doing what? Like, I was totally mute. My personality just transitioned. Like, I was just like, it was terrible. Hence not being a wife to a 19, 20-year-old boy, right? Like, there are some things that were totally, totally obsolete for my performance as a wife. And I can admit that now. But I did to the best of my ability. I did what I knew. I was just very unhappy. I was very unhappy. I was literally a skeleton walking around as this man's wife, trying to make him happy and just so. He also didn't know how to be a husband. Not at 20 years old. He was playing his video games and just, totally disengaged, no conversation, no mental, no nothing, outside of a physical. So, but that's all he knew to do. So
I mean, we all do fairness, y'all. Y'all was really, really young, and I'm not taking sides, but I kind of was there in the mix of everything, so I get it. Working like he tried to do his best. I get that part as well. So let's move on to asking you your, because I want people to be able to comment and get on as well, right? So I'm just setting the stage for everyone, right? So people that just came on, please type in the comment your preference, age preference as far as female dating a male, male dating a female. What do you think the appropriate age preference should be? Okay, so now bring us to after that marriage, how did you feel? What was your type as far as age and stature is concerned? Bring me there. Bring me up to speed.
my age preference, am I paused? There we go. My age preference was a little bit older after I was done with the marriage, just because I felt like I needed someone that matched my eye level of maturity. And then I also feel like the whole covering thing comes into place. Like, I feel like I was always drawn to a man that was a little bit more stronger, just because I wanted to feel covered, if you will. So I would say a little bit older, maybe 5 years, 4 or 5 years at the bare minimum for me personally.
So 4 or 5 years older when you got a divorce, and how old were you then?
Oh, 28, 27. Yep, 27, 28.
So 31. But see, you and I used to talk, and you felt like anything over 31 was like ancient. Oh, I'm not doing that, Lowe's. He too old, and you thought everybody over 31 back then was Uncle Earl. And
For
so
a couple years. Like, I definitely wanted a couple years because I felt like I had dated younger, and that was not the answer, like, at all. So, yeah.
right. Okay, so bring us current so I can start bringing on the guest that's going to
Sure.
ask you questions.
Absolutely.
Bring right now
So
to
now,
yeah.
my preference will be like anybody, like at least at 5, 6, 7, 8. I will go 10 plus years because that all the things that I've encountered and all the things that I've learned, that is where I'm at right now. I can't say that it'll be always, but for now, I feel like that age bracket is all encompassing of what I need mentally, emotionally, like all the things. And that's just kind of what I'm looking for specifically.
I love it. I love it. So you know what? This is what we're gonna do. I'll bring somebody on to ask you some questions before you elaborate on the specifics of, did someone get your attention at an older age that made you change your mind? Or, you could get into a little bit more dibble and dab as it relates to that. I'm just trying to, my cousin told me last week, optics. So I'm trying my hardest to, be politically correct, but I'm also trying to set the stage, if you will. So anybody else want to talk about their experience as it relates to older or younger? Because I really would prefer a male to get on to tell me a little bit more about why they prefer younger. I know young Bishop gone, but this would be perfect time, Bishop, because just right up his alley, he talking about some age ain't number a number in the comments. So I'm just saying I don't know if he's available, but I'm just saying whoever wants to come on to talk about their personal experience, this would be great. Because all I'm trying to do is engage the conversation before I go ahead and get her to be able to explain more so of how an older dude got her attention. And then I want to ask her as well, would she ever go back? Can a 22-year-old, 23-year-old get her attention based on what's your boy name that Drea dated, or what I'm trying to do is go younger. What if it was a younger guy with a little swag, money, stability, covering? Could he get your attention now? So my thing is that's where we are now. So hold on, we got somebody. Let's see who we got. Bishop. Hold on. This should be fun. Okay. So Ashley, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring Bishop on, right? And I'm gonna ask him some similar questions as it relates to this, right? So Bishop, this is Ashley. Ashley, this is Bishop. So this is what we gonna do. Bishop, could you tell us your preference before? Okay, first of all, I'm sorry, for our audience, Bishop, tell them where you stand now as far as your dating status, as far as you being divorced or whatever. Tell us where you are. She divorced too, so tell us your.
Okay, I was married for 17 years. I'm currently divorced, been divorced for almost 7 years now. So I'm 54 years old. So it just depends on where you are in life. Right now, I guess I couldn't date somebody who is too young if they want children, because I don't want any more children. So I guess it depends on those factors. Some people want children. So right now I'm here in Colombia in South America, and you might see a guy older than me walking around with a young 21-year-old. So overseas, Africa, no matter where you go, Asia, the age difference isn't really an issue except for in the westernized countries like America. So it really just depends on a lot of different situations.
Okay, so like take us back to after you got a divorce. After you got a divorce, what was your age preference? Like if it was ideal, like if you were on a dating app, or if somebody said, hey, I got this homegirl, what is your age preference as far as a female is concerned?
Uh, I would put 25 to 45. I'm 54.
Okay, so
So if I'm on a date app, my age preference is 25 to 45.
so how old is your kids?
Both my kids are in college now, so they just turned 20 and 21.
Okay, so 25. You would date and take a 25-year-old serious? I'm just asking, just for the
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you will have a young 10, 25 on your arm, and you think you'll have more in common than her other than sex. Is that true to say or safe to say?
Yeah, I tell people a story of when I was in college. My most mature girlfriend I had back in college. Back when I was 21, 22, she was the same age. And she had her act together. She's one of the reasons where I'm at today, because she helped me get my act together. So I've dated, 50-year-olds also. I dated women in all age groups. And it really just depends on the particular woman that you're dating. It doesn't really matter the age. I've dated women that were 50 that are as childish as somebody in their teens, and somebody in their 20s could have their act together better than a lot of these 40s and 50-year-olds. So, I mean, a lot of these 40 and 50-year-olds don't have their act together either. So it depends on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, cool. So now that we're here, I love the fact that we're here. Now that we're here, Ashley, could you tell us a little bit more about the difference in your opinion when you dated someone that was younger opposed to dating somebody older, and how did the older guy beat out the younger guy as it relates to courting you?
Yes. So I feel like an older, more mature man is fully aware of a woman's emotions. I feel like they have gone through the trenches, they have lived, they have learned lessons, they have failed marriages, failed relationships, what have you. So by error, they're here. But I feel like the good part is now they know. They're masterful at understanding, the woman's emotions, her needs, kind of just where she's at. From my experience, I think that people that are younger, there's a huge lack thereof. They just think that they could just throw out some money and, a date, and like you're supposed to be happy. And it's just like, no, there's so much more that comes with it. So I feel like mature men are just aware, very emotionally aware. And that is huge. You ain't got to be a millionaire, but if you understand this and how to stimulate a woman mentally, there's not much more to be done, in my opinion.
So let's pause there because
Well,
this is what
they say this gray brings wisdom. All this gray is wisdom right here. That's what they say.
well, I mean, so this is where everything about to go left right quick, just real easy, right? Because so we gonna introduce Kevin Samuels Jr. right? He got
Uh-oh.
right. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
Lord.
so right. But
Oh, don't get me started
no,
now.
we get you started because I want this thing to go there, right? So what I'm saying to you is, she said once you, and that's very very similar to what Heike said last week. She said the respectful man, and once you gain her mind, things will go all the way there. You know, things shouldn't always be about sex. When we had our celibacy talk, so Ashley's saying the same type of thing. She's saying, hey, once he get my mind, he got me. So, but at the end of the day, Bishop seemed to think a little bit differently. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pass the mic right quick, and then we're gonna get this party started. Go ahead, Bishop.
Where do you go here?
No, okay.
No, I mean I'm fine with what she said. It's not like I'm all open for a fair exchange. So yeah, and you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. You know I'm always out and about and somewhere traveling and stuff like that. So I don't mind spending money going out and doing for somebody. But yeah, you want the same in return. And a lot of times women be like, I do well for myself. I have a nice car, nice house and stuff. So when women see me, a lot of times they like, I can't do for you as you do for me. And men don't expect you to spend money on them or whatever. You know, we're men, so we don't really care about your money. But, women have lost the art of femininity and they don't really know what they can do to please a man. This simply cooking a meal. Do you know how many women I go out that brag about not being able to cook? This little simple things you could do for a man. Besides sex, of course, that's that's definitely something. But yeah, this is the simple thing is just cooking a meal, rubbing his back. Just little things that women just tend not to do these days. That goes far. That tends
So
to go real far.
this is what I meant by turning it to the left, right? You know me, I'm gonna shake it up, right? So last week the conversation was, and that's why I really appreciate my cousin that was on. I don't know if she on today, but really really appreciate her because she talked about celibacy and basically we don't need to do all of that. That man Bishop said, let me exit the conversation left because I don't believe in celibacy, right? I just believe that if that's what you on, that ain't what I'm on. Let's keep it moving, right? And mainly because it was extremely enlightening because he was able to talk about what celibacy meant for him. And Lim had an interesting topic on celibacy as well. We're not talking about that now, but the point is, he's saying in order for a woman to grab my attention, she has to do this, this, and this. Tell us what this, and this is, Bishop, for you.
Well, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 54 years old. I'm already had my kids, and I'm an usher at my church. But I mean, we're in 2024, and yeah, I'm not doing celibacy. I don't have anything against somebody else doing celibacy. I'm just not dating them and doing it with them. So I don't have a problem with anybody doing celibacy. It's just like that's not somebody who I personally would date. So you would have to find somebody who would go for it.
Okay. So Bishop, I really appreciate your take. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish up with her a couple more questions, and then I got somebody else that's trying to get in. Thank you so much. I'm gonna bring you
All
back
right.
in, Bishop. I'm gonna bring you back in.
All right.
All right. So now that we talked to Bishop, we got him off the line. And so tell us about, because I want to skate around this. My cousin said optics, right? I want to skate around this good. And I heard her comment. She said, "How did she get in it?" Because she helped me. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better at what I do. So I'm very careful now with my words. So can you tell us or bring us into the whole? I want you to give us something different. Roll the dice and tell us a little bit more about the specifics. Dive a little bit deeper than him talking about he's mature and he understands your mind. What does that even sound or look like? And then I'm gonna bring Lemmy in after this. But can you tell us a little bit more about specifically how does somebody gain your trust or your mind to be able to get you all into him? And he's an old school Mr. Earl opposed to young pistol star.
Not Mr.
If
Earl. I love that. I'm not gonna say my mind because that is powerful. I'm not gonna say how you give somebody your mind because that's too, like, you ain't got my mind. However, there is something called stimulation, but you don't have my mind now. Wait a minute. What I can say is people, the jokers that are young, they playing with 15 cards, and it's obvious, and it's not the experience is not customized. You know, cute girls with a great education and successful come a dime a dozen, right? To the guy that don't have no kids, to the guy who's successful. So it's just like, you don't take them seriously because they play with a full deck and they show you this how many cards I got. Like, get in. If you want to get in, good. If you don't, that's fine. So as far as older, they may be playing with a full deck as well, but it's discreet. You feel like, okay, well, this man is paying a customized experience for me, right? And that might come with skill, that might come with how long they've been doing it for. But the young jokers don't care. Their dating is sloppy, and it's just like, huh? You know, and are you trying to get the girl, or you just don't really care? So I feel like women are disposable to the younger, you know, the younger age brackets. And that's why women find themselves competing. That's why they find themselves becoming pick-me's. That's why they find themselves, like you said, cooking, buying gifts, making meals. It's not even your man yet, but you're doing backflips to try to show and prove yourself. That's why.
Okay, so dating has changed tremendously,
Yeah.
right? So is it a such thing as courting anymore? Is there any such thing as opening up the doors and buying you flowers? Do that even exist nowadays with people starting them with the Chief Keefs them of the world?
No.
Sorry.
Nah, because no, because you got to do that for 15 women. Because they got such a full, you know, they roster so full, they whatever you want to call it is so full. They don't have the capacity to buy roses for 15 girls, to do that customized experience for 15 people. No. So everybody's getting low impact, high effort. What is it? Low effort, high impact. It's like, what's one of them Nerf gun balls? Everybody getting the same good morning text. You may as well put us in a group chat, right? Some free stuff.
So let me ask you this. Is it something, and I just heard this question, somebody asked me, but is there something really wrong with that? If I can afford buying roses for 3 women, right? And if I can afford courting 3 women just to try to figure out which one I really want to be with, but I'm honest, is it something really wrong with that, i.e. Bishop? I'm just asking.
I'm not, there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you just bootleg and, you know, you doing the bare minimum, it's just like, don't worry about it. I understand that until you find that one, you're not going to do that. But at least give me a little something, you know, a little courting. Courting is obsolete. Why? Because men don't have to. I feel like women throw in the kitchen sink at the moment they get winked at. So why should they? Why would you buy something you get a free ticket to? You wouldn't do it.
I love this conversation. Come on in, Lynn, when you're ready. But I love this conversation because it's kind of like, you're right. Why buy? Big Mama say, why buy the cow? Get the milk for free, right? So if you're getting the milk for free, why buy the cow? So I'm asking you, what is the difference? Tell me the difference between you and your dating, because this is the last time I'm gonna say it because I love my cousin, but she said I date differently last week, which was great. And so what I'm saying is, tell me the difference now of you specifically. That's why I asked her as well. What's the difference between you and, say, Sexy Red? Because that is what. No, listen. We'll all do fair, and I'm using these examples, right? We'll all do fairness. But what I'm saying to you is, if we could choose Sexy Red, if you will, and she out there, not her in particular, but she the first one came to my mind. But if we could choose somebody like that that's just out there and it's just there, what's the difference of choosing you just because you got some lipstick on and you make a little money and you rub my back and made me feel special? Go ahead.
You're not going to take her home to your mama. You're not going to take her to your work event. You're not going to take her around your peers. You're not going to be proud of that. Sure, you get a putt-putt off the junkyard. You can pull up with any kind of car, but are you proud of that car? Is that car worth your investment? Absolutely not. No. So when men invest in a woman, when they invest in them, that's their prized possession. They like, man, that's bae. Man, that, you know what I mean? Like, you could pull up on Shorty, whoever, in your phone at any given moment. But the man that puts into that woman, that's who he loves.
I love
But
it.
if he's doing it for 15,000 women, that man is just not ready to settle. That's just what it is. He's not ready to settle down. And that's fine. And we find ourselves as women being like, I can change his mind. I'm different. He's going to love me. And then they compete. and now they're broken because they feel rejected. Now they're broken because he's not accepting of them. Well, he told you off the top. That's not what he was looking for. But
So what's the breaking point? How long do you date this man until you feel like, hey, this is not worth it? And then I'm gonna bring Lim in right after your answer.
yeah,
Go ahead.
self-awareness. I just feel like women are not aware. If we understood our value and our worth, I'm on a shrug shoulders committee. I don't care. You know, like, I think that men are drawn to women that make them work. You don't want nothing that's free. If I drop a bag of groceries off on your porch for free, you're gonna be like, what's wrong with it? I don't want that. Something wrong with it, right? Because there's no effort. You put no work into it. So if us women will lock into the game and understand our authority and just fall back into our femininity, we would get much further.
Come on in, Lip Jack in the box. That's all we see.
Hold on a second. Here I come. Here I come.
Oh,
I'm
you
trying
weren't
to-
ready for this?
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, damn. Go back. All right. All right. All right. I enjoyed the show up to this point.
Uh,
I think this was phenomenal. So I have some insight. So a few things. Let's go here. There's a double standard when it comes to age for men and women dating. The double standard is that a man who's older will find himself, and it's acceptable to a degree that he can date a woman even 20 years his junior. Because here's why.
Oh,
Here's why.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. He can date a woman 20 years his junior because we as men have no problem with taking care of women. But a woman like a young lady like yourself, she's accomplished. She's done some things. I can tell her without even knowing her. I can tell her directly. She has no intention or desire to take care of a 25-year-old man under any circumstances. Emotionally, spiritually, financially, sexually, nothing. We will go and get a 25-year-old woman. Don't speak a lick of English. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you, right? Don't have a degree. And if she treats us a certain type of way, we have no problem taking her from as they say, taking her from the ground up, right? And making her what we want her to be, or what what we think we should have in a female. So this is a double standard. Oprah Winfrey is a good example. She would never date a man who's not accomplished. So this is something that women have to deal with. This actually shrinks their dating pool, in my estimation, because age, when it comes to dating and age, it doesn't go the same way. She wants a man who is at least competent enough to take care of himself, at least bare minimum, and in some cases has more than her. Most cases have more than her financially, and can show her something, lead her, protect her, and so forth. So it's just a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, I feel for them but we can. And here's what happens when we're dating. Our pool is like the Grand Canyon, and their pool is like a little small town in Idaho, right? So not only can and we're gonna go here because we need to go here. Not only can we date younger, sometimes we date outside our race. There's a big deal there. We can talk about that. Let's just talk about it, right? And black women sometimes will not do that. Then we have to deal with the fact that you remove the men who are gay. You remove the men who are locked up. They're out of her dating pool. Then you remove the men who's in her DMs who will never see her vagina. You remove them, right? Then you remove the men who are flirting with her that she wants. So when you get down to the men who she wants, and she's willing to say, you know what, I will partner with you, it looks very different. So that's where the age comes into play. The other thing I want to say is this. I was dating a young lady who told me verbatim, she's now beyond, she said she's the type of woman, she likes to cook, she likes to give a man a massage, she likes to do the things that typically women nowadays don't. Her girlfriends told her, stop cooking for men. Stop spoiling them. That's the words they use. And you know what they told her? If you keep doing this, then you're going to fuck up the market and we're going to have to start cooking. I start laughing, but they really, it's a sad state of affairs when for a woman to show some sort of softness, some sort of femininity towards a man. It comes with some resistance. She's called a pick me. She's called a you trying too hard. White girl, you ain't got to be desperate like that. You the prize. Right? They quick say, you the prize. You ain't got to do all that for that man. He ain't worth it. Girl, he just another man. You gonna have another man in 2 years. Right? Girl, we gonna be here for you longer than that man. Right? Stop doing all that. So you have all of that, those things competing in a woman's mind. And the truth of the matter is this. It's you it's challenging for women today. I'm not going I'd be lying if I told you different. It's hard. It's harder. I'm 51. Bishop is in his 50s. I can date a woman 25, 35, 45, 55. You know, whatever you want me to, I can play. I can play any position you want me to play, right? And it's sad that a woman says she got one. This is her choices are so myopic and so narrow. And then we even talked about her personal preference as it pertains to height, finances, being in shape, whatever. Now, if you start to do like that, now you cutting the needle so thin, as the Bible say, you can barely fit that camel through the eye of a needle. Her choices are that minuscule. Then you're talking about competing with other women from other races, from other ages, right? So I hear you. This is a great topic. Here's the resolution. Sometimes what's going to happen with women is they're going to have to broaden their pool of men by maybe coming out of their comfort zone. It just is what it is. You may not get the guy that's 6'3". You may not get the guy that makes 250 a year. You may get the to bring that number down. You may not get the guy that got the 9-inch, you understand, pocket knife. You may have to come down to the 6-inch pocket knife, right? So all I mean, right, but here's the thing. As a woman gets older, guess what happens? Reality starts to set in. It goes away from that Cinderella bullshit. And she starts to come in, look, I'm 40 now. I'm 37 now. I'm not 25. So I got to be more honest with myself, more self-aware. And then my pool opens up. Those guys that weren't good enough 10 years ago, they got a shot now, right? Hopefully.
So,
Maybe. Maybe.
so
Can I
this,
Go
ask
ahead.
a
this,
question
Go
though?
ahead. Go
Does that mean
ahead. Go ahead.
does
Go ahead.
that mean inevitably that it's time to settle? Like you what you get, you got a small picking, so
okay.
You know what I'm gonna?
it's
I don't want
like
to use
'cause
that word,
I
but I know
don't
that
know.
word comes.
I'm
Go
in
ahead.
the
I know that word
stage.
comes with a negative connotation. How about this? Having a new appreciation for where I'm at in my life, and and my choices have to align with where I'm at. And sometimes we don't always get what we want. We get what we need.
That's true.
And
I,
so,
I'm.
so
Go
So
ahead.
what? Right. So what I was saying, just to stir the pot a little bit, what I was saying initially to her a long time ago. This is my homegirl for a long time. So before she got married, 2021, young tender in the game.
Yep.
I said, listen, what you need is somebody a little bit older because of this. Because they've been there before, they did shit. I ain't dating him. That's too old, and I and so this is what she was saying. So
Right.
she the word settling. I wouldn't say settling. I didn't say settling. But at the end of the day, I can guarantee you. Now watch your facial expression when I say this, right? I can guarantee you it's that plethora of dudes in her DMs, as well as my cousins, as well as my other cousin. It's a lot of girls I've talked to. It's a lot of dudes to choose from. And
Right.
guess what? They beating down the door
Right.
though. Like, hold on, come on. They beating down the door. They gonna buy the flowers. I'll pay your rent. They'll sing the whole song. I cook your dinner too. As soon as I come home from work. So they would do all of that, and then they don't want to give them a time of day because this is not who they are attracted to.
Right.
So hey, I'm just throwing it out there. So come on, Ashley, tell me your rebuttal and tell me I'm lying first. I'm at your face. Tell me I'm lying first. Then go ahead.
Wait. I don't think that that's true for everybody. Now, will I go on a date with somebody that's just kind of like way left, buddy missing an eye, too? Like, no, I'm not getting ready to do that. But I do feel like I have been like, okay, let me give this a shot, or let me give that a shot. This isn't my usual, so let me think outside of the box. And it's a couple times I was like, okay, he's cool. However, that is not someone, like I talked about the rickety car. That's not somebody I'm about to bring around my people. He can take care of me, and he can do whatever he want to do from a private standpoint. But I'm not taking that. That's not the representation of who I am. So
Can I interrupt?
that's
Because let
unfortunate.
me
It's
find
not shallow.
the tape.
Not.
Let me
Yeah.
rewind the tape to when you said, if this man captures my mind and he get my stuff, he gets me. Now imagine he ain't got the eye. He missing the slick Rick, right? But he get my eye, and then my man courting really hard and heavy, right? So what I'm saying to you is I was under the impression, and I could be wrong, but I was under the impression once a female falls in love or falls for a dude, a lot of that attraction stuff becomes Biggie. Don't nobody really find Biggie attractive until he is. I see you, cuz. So that not a lot of people find Biggie attractive until he is. Because once he gets you with the charisma, the courting, and make you feel like you're the number one girl in the world, then, well, maybe he ain't really that ugly. It's kind of like the girl in the club. When the lights come on, it's a whole different look. But now it's different with the whole fixture and all the extra stuff. Optics. So let me go back. Let me scale it back. So the point is, what do you think about that? The guys that really want a shot with you, that you definitely didn't even think about, or now you thinking about it now that you're a little older, but some dudes, you still ain't even responding to them. Let's just be honest. And I don't know this for certain, but I know this for certain. Go ahead.
When it comes to being a competitive woman, I'm not gonna say we always want we can't have, but it's just like I'm not getting ready to settle. Like he's great, but that's not what I want. Like that's just not, that person's not worthy. Like they might be sweet and nice and whatever. I'm shooting straight. I'm not. I don't look at y'all's face.
But I got a question.
I'm just saying. So
finish.
then I'm playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
So then there are women that will take being on the roster with 45,000 women just to have such and such, and just to have the Noop and the Q Dog and the this and the that, right? And this established man because he looks the part. There are women that'll do that. They'll settle for that. I'm not one of them. Calm down. But that's where that comes into play. This person's not my brand. Like, and I'm not being shallow with saying that. Like, I'm attracted to them, but I'm embarrassed. That's the thing.
You know what?
No,
hold on, Lim, hold on. So I'm so glad you said this. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let Lim. Listen, Lim, you got 2 minutes.
All right,
I'm gonna let Lim talk for 2 minutes.
All
And
right.
after that, I got somebody else. Cause I hear, hey, Bishop said bad dog. If you really want something colorly like that, bad dog. So whoever next, y'all need to request to go live. I'm gonna let y'all in here because there's some good stuff. Go ahead, Lim.
All right, so I have a question. What constitutes you feeling like a guy, if your words, worthy enough to meet your people? I want to. What does he need? What does he need to be able to meet your people?
I say that lightly. I don't mean it in the way like he's like I'm Beyonce. But what I do mean is like, just like a man, I want to bring the person that I'm proud of as well. I want to bring the person that looks the part, who matches kind of what the expectation would be for a man like me. So when I say that maybe branding, maybe charisma, maybe educationally, he's intelligent. He can hold a conversation if I walk out of the room. Those types of things.
But if a man said that about a woman, then wouldn't that be really disrespectful? Nope. Like I love that, because keep that same energy, because when I bring Bishop out here, he gonna let loose. Go ahead, Larry.
No, because we talked about it. He said he'll get a woman that can't speak, blah blah blah. But my rebuttal is that that's not who you're gonna take home to your mama on Thanksgiving. That's not who you're gonna be. That's not who you're gonna be like, surprise, this is my girl. Like that's not who you're gonna be proud of.
He ain't bringing nobody home because he don't want to get married again, and he don't want to. So I think as long as that rotation and he can juggling game, I think that is conducive for him. However, look, before you speak, Larry, just understand we got older people in the audience that I asked to come on as well, and we got right. And so, with that being said, this is informative. People really want to understand. Am I too old to date a younger girl? And then how young is too young, and vice versa. If I'm a young female, when is my time or my value running out, as you alluded before? So go ahead, Larry.
Okay, so Here's what happens, and this is I'm gonna make it very plain. If a man is still wants to get married, this is very important. If he still wants to get married and have kids, then at 40, 45, even 35, he'll be willing to date a woman who's probably in her 20s. Now, if he's done with marriage, if he's done with having children, then that opens up the pool even wider because the things that he's looking for. This is very important. I want to say this. A lot of times, the reason why men and women are missing each other in their dating opportunities is because we just don't want the same thing. And we have to identify that up front before we start having sex, before we get deeply committed emotionally. We need to understand, what are your relationship goals? What do you want? And this is a thing. We as men have to be honest enough to say, baby, I'm not trying to get married and I don't want no kids. Right off the rip. Like, we don't need to play no games to try to get in your panties. I'm not looking to get married. I'm not looking to have kids. I'm looking for some companionship. We can go traveling. We can enjoy our lives together. And then that gives that young lady, whether she's 35, 25, and I got to talk about that too, it gives her an option. The other thing is this. Women in this, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. When it comes to having children later on in life, women are waiting today too late. So they're waiting to 40 and 43, some of them, because they either worked on their education themselves at a younger age and they weren't thinking about that then, and they're making this last ditch effort. That also hurts them too, because at that point, most likely a man's children are already grown. You know, when you turn 40, at least he's probably got a 20-year-old by then, or at least a teenager. So then you're missing each other there. It's incumbent to recognize and acknowledge the biological ramifications. This is the fact. Women have a biological clock when it comes to children. And men, my uncle from Chicago, from the Chi, had his last child at 62. Don't recommend it, but he did. We can keep having kids longer than you. So your mindset, your mentality, your priorities have to be different than ours. And is it fair? No, it's biology.
So let me.
It's the way your body is made. Go ahead.
So no,
I'm sorry.
let me say this. I want
Go
to
ahead.
switch gears. Thank you, Lim. Anybody else want to request to go live? They can. You can stay on until somebody else comes, Lim.
Okay.
So I can request to go live. But Ashley, when you respond, I want you to respond from this perspective. What if it's a older Christian man and they don't want? Because I got a couple friends that go to my church. They older, late 40s, early 50s, late 50s, early 60s, and they want to get back out here, but they don't want to do all of that. They want to do it right this time. They everything Bishop don't want to do. They want to practice celibacy till they figure out this they right girl. They want to do it God's way, and that's the way we encourage, right? So, what is your suggestion based on that and your Pentecostal upbringing and what you think? Go ahead, give it to them.
Well, that is my upbringing, and I think that's beautiful. And I think there's a whole lot of opportunity for them because if they're not too picky, they have a whole bunch of women that's been in church their whole life, sitting up in the congregation without a husband. These women are open and ready to receive a healed man, a man with experience, a man that's walked through some stuff. He done his F-boy stage. He got a little swag because he was in the world. Now he's giving himself to Christ, all the things. So the world is his. He really can have what he wants. He probably could be a little bit selective because there's a lot of women in that margin, in that category. And like Lim said, in various different age groups that are waiting. Might find somebody like me who is divorced and learned early on, etc., who's younger. There's a lot of opportunity for that man who's willing to court that woman properly. And if he's, looking from a sphere of celibacy, I feel like the world is his still because it's a whole lot of women that value that and that would accept that with open arms.
So how do you? I'm late 50s, right? How do I find this young Pender? And where do I find her at? Do I go online dating? I'm asking for a friend. Trust me. Do I go online dating? Do I date at the church, the gas station, the bookstore? And then you just said you don't want me to come home to your mama. So how can I approach you? Like, what are you approachable? What do I say? Help me out with that for the guys that's listening.
The dating apps are a blessing and a curse. Why? Because on the dating apps, everybody and their mom is on there looking for a person or people with multiple. So that could be a double-edged sword where the guy go on there and he get his feelings hurt by some young tenders and now he back wounded and don't want to see nobody, right? So as long as he's understanding what comes with that culture, I feel like he'll be fine. But just being open and being willing to shoot his shot and slide in some DMs and connect and learn how to just have a 2024 conversation with these women, and the rest is history.
So you telling me there is hope for Mr. Earl? Now, what's your suggestion, Lim? Because I don't see nobody else want to come on in. So, Lim,
All right.
And can I say this?
yes,
You said what you call him, Mr.
Mr.
Earl?
Earl?
Is at
Hey, my cousin
he
Rashida. Hold on. My cousin Rashida, she got mad when I said Mr.
oh
Earl. But this,
okay.
I mean, tell you who Mr. Earl is. So Mr. Earl is typically 65 plus with a little change in his pocket. But now, trust me, Mr. Earl got a lot of money because he retired. He got the drop top Bentley. Mr. Earl got all them properties. And so at the end of the day, I'm kind of short on my rent, Mr. Earl. Like Mr. Earl is Mr. Earl. We all know Mr. Earl. He got the ball spot right there. He's receding a little bit. But at the end of the day, Mr. Earl, you can tell he used to be handsome back in the day. But Mr. Earl is Mr. Earl. Is there a hope for Mr. Earl?
Absolutely. I don't know with younger women, but I feel like sure in a certain bracket, absolutely there is. You got many. There's more single women than there is men. So why can't he have a shot? Absolutely. And if he just want companionship, he can have that too.
I love it. Okay, Lim. So on the flip side, since nobody else, on the flip side, if the young lady was older, she in her 50s, late 40s, and she trying to shoot her shot with a young tender like yourself, handsome, you work out, you go to the gym, you Santa Monica stairs, shirt off, all of that. If somebody want, I mean, got it all, nice car, and can take me to catch and maestros and rooftop in LA to show you the world. What would you say to an older cougar, if you will? I'll just call it cougar. But what would you say to an older lady, trying to shoot her shot? Or not even at you, but just a younger guy?
Well, she hopefully at that age she's not trying to be in a committed relationship in terms of a marriage. I'm assuming she's probably been married. She's got grandkids. Um, she should be looking for companionship, someone to travel with, enjoy life with. She should have gotten over her. I gotta have a certain type of man state. Her pool should be way open because she's lived through her 20s and 30s and she's done all that and I'm gonna just say it, she's hit the wall in a way and she's accepted her reality, which makes it a lot easier to be able to function and get what you want. You know what's funny? Self-awareness is a lost art form. When you're self-aware, you get far better results than people who are delusional, right? Because you know who you are, you're comfortable in your skin, and you're not trying to impress anybody anymore. I think that's the beauty of age and wisdom is you're done with the impressing stage and all you want is simplicity, you want your needs met, and you want companionship. So it's a lot less complicated for Mrs. Earl. You got Mr. Earl, Mrs. Earl.
Auntie.
Mrs. Earl, right? It's a lot less complicated for Mrs. Earl. And quiet as kept, I don't know this, but I heard it. I'm just going to tell you. Mrs. Earl still got a little something in her hot pocket. Her hot pocket still get warm. I'm just saying, I don't know this. Somebody told me. her hot pocket still, it get a little warm, and she wants some comfort.
Hey, listen.
She wants some comfort.
Let's not disrespect Miss Earl like that, right?
I'm just,
So
hey.
what I am gonna say though is I don't know if anybody else want to come on, but in this last couple minutes, I want to switch gears, right? Now, let's talk. Y'all had a lot to say about the younger and the older, right? But let's take your kids. What if Ashley's son came home with a 20-year-old or 20 right now? What if he came home with 18 and I think he's 12, right? So what if he came home and was talking to a 19-year-old and mama, this my date?
No, sir.
Hold on, wait, keep that in your mind. And then I want them to be able to understand specifically what happens if one of your nieces or nephews, because women don't have no kids, but if nieces and nephews was dating somebody older, what would be the difference between a man? So we'll give her the little boy and we'll give you the girl.
Okay.
The girl dating older, and then the little boy dating older or younger. No, we'll just say older, just for the sake of argument, right? So go ahead, Ashley, tell us what you think.
It's a different dynamic because when you grown, right? After
Yeah.
after whatever, I feel like after 30, the rest is history. Even in your late
Hold on,
20s.
So hold on. Is 30 considered grown?
I mean, I'm just saying, as far as dating and understanding other spectrums of age. Well, after 30, the rest is history. Now, 19, 18, no. That's out of the question. You can date older once you cross that threshold of being an adult, but no, not when you're young. It doesn't make that don't align. Like, no, I would look at him and absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
So what if he keeps sneaking? Mom, I'm attracted to the girls. I just like older girls. I'm in 7th, 8th grade, and the girl I really like, she a junior. I mean, because I remember a long time ago, shout out to my wife, but long time ago, long time ago, I was in junior high school, and that was me. I was your son. I was attracted to older women, right? I used to try to lie about my age, the whole nine, and come on, baby, I'm really in high school, but I really wasn't. I forgot my ID in school. One of them on my car in the shop. I was one of them. And so all I'm just asking is, just for the sake of argument, right? But what I'm asking is, what if your son was attracted to older women? How you gonna deal with that? How could you want that smoke? Like what?
I wouldn't deal with it. God knows that is not in my wheelhouse.
No, but with
wouldn't
all
be
the
able to.
fairness, your son is getting older and you getting ready to hit a phase and a stage. My homegirl jerk, she ain't on here now, but you getting ready to hit a phase and a stage that I definitely don't think you're gonna be ready for, and i.e. dating. And I'm dealing with it now. My son, 12, and I mean, excuse me, he's 14 now, but I'm just saying this is a crazy time and age, if I must say myself. So go ahead, Lynn. What would you say about the young girl dating older?
So usually we always kind of denote that with some daddy issues or some mommy issues. A friend of mine, his mom was on crack growing up, so he always found himself dating women 10 years, 11 years older. And he even told me this. I'm gonna share this. He even enjoyed the nurturing that he got from these older women. They cook for him, and I mean, one time he might have slipped up and called one of them mama. So I don't. Hey, I'm just saying, it gets kind of deep there. But I will say this. When it comes to teenagers and people who are not 21 and up, you got criminal ramifications because we've seen these stories where these teachers, these female teachers, are having sex with these teenage boys.
Yeah.
Now, has that happened before and it not got reported? There's plenty of young men who've had encounters with an older woman. Let's just call it that. But right now, you got these women who are 30, 35, having sex with 16, 17-year-old boys. And here's the double standard, and it's not right. We look at our boys, we treat our boys differently when it comes to that than our girls. Now, if a 16-year-old girl is having sex with a 35-year-old man, we want to kill the man, right? But if a 16-year-old boy is having sex with a 35-year-old woman, boy, how did you get that? Woo! You throwing a party for the little man. And it's still wrong. It's still wrong.
Yeah.
But watch this. Even the court systems are skewed when it comes to prosecuting 35-year-old teachers, female teachers, than 35-year-old male teachers. They say the conviction or the actual sentence is less for the women than it is for the men. So even in our court systems, we're behind in that double standard. I will say that. But the long story short is this. I'm glad, I thank God I don't have children, because if my daughter was having sex with a 35-year-old man, for the record, I would be in prison. And like Samuel L. Jackson said, I'll do it again.
So look, now that you brought that up,
Yes.
if there's anybody else want to speak or come live, This is your opportunity. But now that you bring that up, I can give you a real example. I got numerous of family members in Chicago, girls that not only was dating older men, 30 plus, but they had babies bound. And yeah, they babies bound. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't say as far as 30, but I could tell you right now that I got family members that was definitely in high school, 17 through 19, I'll say, and the boy was definitely, well, I'll just say 16 to 18, and the guy was definitely over 25. I'll say that for sure. And so, but I was kind of conflicted with family members too, kind of like, well, y'all ain't gonna say nothing. Your mama didn't say nothing. Your daddy didn't say, did nobody say nothing? So who am I? So when you say you will definitely be in jail, it's kind of like the woman that get beat.
Well,
You can.
No.
I was gonna say, if I'm a dad, I would have to look at myself and say, what in the world I failed as a father if my daughter feels like she needs to date a man who's 15, 10 years, whatever her senior, as a child. Her mind hasn't even developed, right? From an emotional standpoint, spiritual standpoint, she doesn't even know what she's capable of. And this man knows everything she's capable of. And usually the manipulation factor is this. He's using her, he's like a vampire extracting her innocence to a degree, right? And when he does that, he goes on and she's never the same after that experience. Never. And from a spiritual standpoint, now that doesn't mean she's gonna become a prostitute. That doesn't mean she's gonna start stripping. I'm just saying here's what children need: the opportunity to fully matriculate at their pace, not at an adult pace. See, when we get involved, we force them to be a Ferrari when they're a Volkswagen, right? They need to stay a Volkswagen. Stay young as long as you can. You're going to have plenty of time to get out there and twerk if that's what you into, and date this kind of guy, and date that kind of guy. You're going to have it. But when you do it at a young age, it really warps and distorts how you then interact with men from there on out. And unless you can do the work, get some help to kind of the Bible says transform your mind. Unless you get some help with that to recalibrate, those women go off into and that doesn't mean that they're forever damned. I'm not saying that. But their decision making is sometimes skewed by some of those choices. Yes, you can course correct. But why even go down that path if you don't have to? It's a dead end. So that's my opinion.
What's your take on the Ashley?
I really don't have much to add. I mean, I feel like, but you hit something when you said that daddy stuff, because I feel like I was always chasing unaware, but looking for someone that was more controlling, because I was looking to replace that feeling of a father. Yeah. So that's I memean, that's principle. But I wouldn't add anything else to that. You hit it spot on.
And in other countries, I will say this because this is true for Bishop. He's right. In other countries, these ages don't qualify. A 15-year-old can marry a 40-year-old man in another country. Yep. Now, we don't live there, so we got to abide by the laws of this land. And I'm gonna be honest, we were socially programmed to believe it's wrong. Yeah. Whether it's right or wrong, our minds automatically, even if you're not saved, I want to say this for the unsaved, you've been exposed to a society that says if you date a woman who's a minor, you are a social predator. You are a statutory rape. Now, in other countries, they don't abide by that. So I just wanted to say that. That applies. This is American law. And this is where we were raised and we were grown. So, what did Jesus say? Render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. So that's where we grew up here. So,
I love it. Okay, so we went there, and so we're in, and bring it on home with this. So, cuz say, unfortunately, these young people not listening to their parents at this point. They're listening to their peers, yeah. And so listen to their peers. That's what cuz say. Yeah. So that do everything you can to be able to train up this child in the way it should go. And then this child can go through the same thing Ashley talked about with the rebellious stage. I ain't listening to nothing. I'm still gonna date him. Matter of fact, if you don't let me, I'm gonna sneak around and I'm still gonna date him. And so Lim talking about some you will be in jail and all of this. But the truth of the matter is we all have our lives to live, right? This is what I think of my kids. Cause I do have kids, right? And so as I have kids, I can't control. Like I can pump the fear and the respect in them all day. But once they turn 18, 19, the truth of the matter is my threatening don't work no more. I'm going to get the, didn't I tell it don't work no more. Now, at the end of the day, I got to let everything I instilled in these kids to be able to come full circle. And sometimes it happened earlier, sometimes it happened later. So if my daughter end up connecting with Mr. Earl now, all I could do is I know, I see your face. All I could do is pray, and hopefully, God will be able to let that fester and that things don't go as far as they could. Because I'm gonna do on my end. You better not talk to Mr. Earl. You should not talk to Mr. Earl. This is what Mr. Earl gonna do. And then once it all happened, I'm gonna do her just like God do me. I'm gonna let her come rest in my bosom. It's okay, baby, because I told you about Mr. Earl. And so at the end of the day, I'm gonna try my hardest to make sure that I'm trying to be the best parent in the way and try to guide my kids. But I cannot control the age factor, right? So the last thing I'm gonna ask you to do is bring me all the way back around to if an older guy, because I'm really concentrating on this older thing. If
All
the
right.
older guy is trying to court you right now, right? And you telling me the difference between old and younger. And Lim say a 25-year-old don't have a shot. So is that true? You're telling me that Jason Tatum do not have a shot with you right now to this day? Hold on, Lim. Hold on. I'm just saying, because to me, it ain't fair unless you really throw some real tangibles out there. If Jason Tatum slid in your DM and he young, 22, 20, or let's just say Anthony Edwards. I'm just saying they slid in your DM and they said, "Hey, beautiful, can you sing that song for me again, or could you say that little motivational thing you do on your Instagram? Can you do that one more time for me, one time? And could we go out for a date?" You telling me you're gonna say no? Just
Well,
be honest.
now,
God,
now, I would normally say no. However, I feel like just depending on the level of maturity, if the maturity is there, if this is an old Southern country little bumpkin dude that was raised by his great uncle type situation, then that might be maybe an exception. If he coming with the kind of conversation I'm looking for, and I don't know, I feel like there might be an if clause. There may be traditional guy just from around the way. No, absolutely not. Because I feel like I would be his mom. Maturity level not there. I could probably wrap circles around him just in teaching him things, and that would be awkward.
what you said. Probably. Do you understand this exception to the rule? Just like you talking about Mr. Earl right now, there could be other Mr. Earls that's a little bit more. Because I promise you, all my brothers handsome, right? But I can tell you right now, I can show you some older guys that don't look their age. Like they could be 60 and still pass for late 40s, or because they got a little swag, they got a little money, they still dress young, they still vibrant, they still go.
So let's just call it. Let's call it, and let's just say it's a case by case scenario.
Case by
And
case.
it's depending upon that level of maturity, the stability, a whole lot of things. How the man was raised, was his foundation? Was he brought up in church? Like there's so many different contributing factors. So I'm not gonna say yes. I'm not gonna say no. I feel like that's just a case by case scenario.
Hey, so we got one of the comments. They said, so his NBA career don't factor into this at all.
Mm-mm.
That don't.
I think it will. I think it
Yeah,
will. I think it will.
Give me
I think it will.
question, Jeff.
but because of his career, he's on different platforms. He has different pressure. He has other things that he's required to do and experience and explore, even at a
Right.
younger age. So that's what pushes his level of maturity.
What about the
Right.
country bumpkin that was raised by his uncle and still got to watch the chickens?
Somebody said caps in the comments.
Oh, look, hold on. Look, he still got to watch the chickens. He still got to be there for grandma and watch Big Mama feed. Like, what about the country bumpkin and still got all these pressures of the world? And he don't have the NBA pressures, but he still has the pressures of the world. What about somebody like him?
He has the ability to uphold, sure. If he has the level of maturity and the foundational aspects and all that stuff, I don't see why not.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna.
That's the politically correct answer, Ashley. I love
Wait,
it.
I'm
hold
not
on,
And
hold
you
on,
still ain't take this corporate hat off, and that's fine. The call almost over. So
hold
maybe
on.
next time you let down your hair a little bit. I get it. You still got the politically
so
correct answer.
if he has the right foundation to take care of me, and he has maturity, those two allows him in. Is that
I
fair? If he's
love it.
just a
I love it.
traditional guy, no, then
He,
no. But
he ain't gonna be polished enough. I don't think he gonna qualify. The guy, he's not gonna be polished enough. And I just see her more as a type. She's gonna want a guy that can do black tie dinners too. He can't just be, you know what I'm saying? I know, I see it. Let me say this. I went back to the kid thing real quickly. And this came to me. So from 0 to 18, God gives us our children. From 18 or 21 on, we got to give them back to him. And by giving back to him, you're releasing the control that you had when they were in your home. You're trusting that whatever values, core values, spiritual values that you instill within them while you had them is going to carry them on. And that requires a level of faith that most people have to really pray, exercise to grow. That I trust that, Lord, you're going to take care of my kids. I don't care where they at. But because you still feel them when they somewhere across the world. You still feel them. You carry them. You don't, matter of fact, the old folks say, you don't stop being a parent when they leave your house, right? You still, my grandmother used to tell my mom, she's like, I don't care if you turn 99, 99, 99. You still my baby. You'll always be my baby as long as I'm walking on this earth. So you still feel that. So God gives them to us, 0 to 18, 0 to 21. But he says, now you have to give them back to me and trust that I'm going to protect them and that I told you and gave you the instructions to give to them. So that's
Well,
the kind of put.
with all fairness, that sound good. Sound just like Ashley with the politically correct hat on, right? And so what I'm saying to you is somebody that got kids. I'm just
Right.
trying to somebody that got kids. I'm just
Tell
trying
me.
to is it don't work like that all the time, right? Because
Right.
you still upset or frustrated with God for not giving you the promotion, let alone not being able to follow after your kids. So if you can't control your day-to-day actions about not going on this diet and upsetting yourself because you got to keep starting over this diet and working out and going to the gym, you don't have no control over this either. So when I remember, I'll never forget when I was out and about in college, I always come home late. And my mom used to be snoring in the room, right? And then I come home and she'll hit me with the, "Woo, Lord, you here now? I can go to sleep." Mama, you was already asleep, right? But the thing is, what she was saying is I couldn't sleep good. I couldn't really rest knowing you was home from college. You still my responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, when you in college, in Virginia somewhere, I really don't know. But the fact that you're here, I don't want
Right.
nothing. And so she was trying her very hardest to hold on to as much control as she can. And the real premise of this is we all try to go off fear, and that fear turns into respect. And so when your parents get older, it's kind of like now, do you still have that same fear? Like,
Right.
will I ever disrespect my mom? Will I ever, not come to my mom when she need my attention? Will I ever? And so now you got to really question the upbringing and try to understand, because we all go through like a rebellious stage. No, I ain't doing that. I'm trying to learn it and do it my way. But then do you have that level of respect? So I'm trying to do this with my kids. I'm trying my hardest to do the best job that I can. Nobody has a manual. All you can do is go off your parents and how they raised you. But guess what? It's 2024 and Sexy Red and them out here. That don't work. That don't work. So all I'm saying to you, you think Sexy Red? I'm sorry for Sexy Red, but do you think Sexy Red Mama is proud?
absolutely
That's the good. You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now
no.
Kim K Mama might be proud, but I'm asking you, do you think Sexy Red Mama raised her to be like this? And do you think she proud? Now she probably proud of the money and the success.
Right.
I
Right.
ain't talking about that part. But do you think
But
she every time she turned on the TV, she ain't got no clothes on, popping her booty, and she might have 6 kids, but she definitely probably don't get married and come home to the barbecues like Ashley said.
And it's
So
but
those,
now.
some of that hoism, if you want to call it today, is generational. It might be generational. Mama might have been a twerker in her own way. They called it the bump in the 70s. She might have been doing the bump, right? You know? So, so some of that hoism is generational. I made up a word, that hoism. It's generational. So Sexy Red Mom be like, baby, I did the best I could. The fact that you made it out of this, you know what I'm saying, this poverty, and you bought me a new home, she may be proud of her. Or you know what I'm saying? But now that don't apply to the mom who fought and strove to get her child through college, worked 3 jobs to get her daughter through college. No, that ain't gonna fly. I killed myself to make sure you had an education. You better not be out there in the streets like that,
Well,
right?
with all due fairness, for the last few minutes, with all due fairness, this world ain't what it used to be. I definitely could go on OnlyFans right now and make a bag. I don't have to get your college education from the DeVry and Phoenix University and be able to go and work at a corporate job like Ashley. Yeah, she look cute and all of that, but Sexy Red said I look cute too, but I got just as much or probably more money than her, and I work half as long. I only work for 30 minutes with my cam and I show a little something and I'm done. What's your
That's
response?
right
Yeah.
now, temporary. It's all temporary, but it's going in an eternal archive. So that's what sucks. Because when she is 85 and that's no longer her brand, this is stamped in eternity. Like, this is not going anywhere. It is on the cloud. Like, so while this little
But
moment is happening and she's getting
she
her coin
did.
or getting her bag, if she don't make no proper investments, it's a complete wash. And her children will be like at a total disgrace of who their parent is. So
What
it's
just
unfortunate. It's
she,
unfortunate when I see women represent themselves like that. So I get it, but
what she just DM'd me and she said God is gonna put it into the lake of
and
unforgiveness. Like
he
forgive.
will, and he will,
He
and
don't
he
remember. He
will,
said he don't remember that.
and he
And then
will. But
somebody
that
said
brand and stuff,
boldness could be erased. Somebody said that might be forgot
and
about.
it will.
Lowe's,
But it's
go ahead.
on the cloud. This is now etched in
Forever.
stone for your brand forever. You cannot take it
Forever.
away.
And
It's
Forever,
printed
ever.
materials. It's
I want to
video
go ahead.
recording. Like, no.
I want to say this to y'all. Only 5 to 10% of the ladies make real money in OnlyFans. That's the lie they don't tell these
Mm-hmm.
kids. The rest of them ain't making 10, 20, and 40,000 a month. They struggling.
Yeah.
They struggling on OnlyFans. Now, struggling compared to somebody who's working at McDonald's, maybe not. But they ain't making the money that the top 10% is making. And what's so fascinating about that, isn't it a mirror of life? In life, people who really got money, it's a small percentage. I'm talking about
Yeah.
wealthy people. And everybody else is kind of everybody else. You got higher, lower, middle, but the top 1%, they over there.
Yeah.
Same thing applies with IG models. Same thing applies with OnlyFans. But I understand what you're saying, Lowe's. A 60-year-old young lady gets recruited by a 21-year-old young lady who's an OnlyFans model and tells her, sis, I'm getting the bag. You ain't got to listen to your parents. You ain't got to go to college. I can get you paid. Watch what's happening. They have pimps called managers now, male and female managers, dare I say, who are recruiting these girls, lying to them, showing them the Birkin bags, showing them the new Ferraris and all that. But what they don't tell them is the next level behind the OnlyFans is you got to get out on the new track. You have to bust it wide open because it's a gateway to prostitution, just like stripping is, right? Gateway to prostitution. Most of the strippers, when Floyd Mayweather don't come to the club, they gonna do something strange for some change.
Well, I heard a
And I don't mean to, I
I
don't
heard
mean to, I don't mean to glorify that, but and it's not funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's the reality. And this is the sad part about it is the young ladies are not informed. They're getting misinformation and they're looking at the top tier, and they're not. The girls are not. See, the OnlyFans models, the strippers, the prostitutes. They need to be honest with these young ladies. We don't always get paid, baby. It ain't always peaches and cream. The athletes don't come in here all the time, and sometimes the athletes are tight. They don't always give that money. So you have to be careful. What you see is not always what's real. That's the honest to God truth.
I love it. Any closing remarks for us, Ashley?
You got it. That was great.
No, I appreciate. Didn't nobody else want to come on live, man? So they ain't want the smoke. I gave a lot of opportunities, but I really appreciate your courage to be on here. You know, my cousin opened it up for a lot of women to be on here and me to be respectful and make sure that we have an honest conversation, which I appreciate her too. So Lamb, appreciate you, bro. I know Bishop somewhere in Colombia doing Lord knows what he doing. I have no idea. But all I'm saying to you is
Lord, no.
I appreciate y'all for being on the call. I can't wait till next week. So next week we're gonna try to convert to talk about online dating, hopefully. But I appreciate for being on the call. Thank you.